I'm Michelle Gatta. I'm the Director of Admissions at Archbishop Carroll. I have a panelist crew of some great Carroll students, administrators, parents, from all grade levels with me tonight. So we're really excited to host you guys. I know this is a little bit unconventional. We are all at home, but we're really happy that you all got on tonight. We have schools tonight are St. Pius, St. Anastasia, St. Mary Magdalene, Mother of Providence, and St. James Regional. So welcome, guys. And for those of you that did get your swag bags today, I hope all of you did. We do hope you enjoy some fun Carroll gear in there. So I'm going to start. I'm going to turn it over to our students on first, then our parents, and then Mr. Gennaro and I, our assistant principal for academics, will talk to you administratively. Please stay muted the whole time if you are a grade school family, and also note at the bottom there is a Q&A box. If you hover over the bottom of your Zoom, that is for you guys to write your questions to us. If you were a grade school student and you experienced this as a 7th grader when we came to visit your school, we really want you to ask us questions. That goes for any parents on as well. So please drop any questions you have in the Q&A box down at the bottom, and we will answer all those questions at the end of this. So without further ado, Sophia Petrosia, you are up first.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Petrosia. I'm a senior at Carroll, and I graduated from St. Annie's right in Newtown Square. A couple things I'm involved in at Carroll. I'm the student council president. I'm also involved with student ambassadors, which is like giving tours, like these virtual things that we're doing, a lot of stuff to just promote the school to prospective families. I'm also involved with the plays that Carroll puts on. We do a spring and a fall show. I'm a part of National Honor Society and Carroll Community Service Corps, where we do a lot of different service projects like all around the area. And then I'm also involved with yearbook committee, which I started last year, which is really fun. And I don't play softball, but I'm the softball manager, which is cool. You get to go to like all the games and stuff. It's just a really cool experience. And I just love being involved so much, as you could probably tell. And I would think that's my biggest piece of advice to give you, is that just to get involved throughout your time at Carroll. It doesn't have to be freshman year. You could pick up like different things as you go throughout your experience in high school. Just like things that you probably wouldn't even think that you would like. It's just a great way to like get to know a lot of different people. And it's something you look forward to at the end of your school day instead of just going home and like doing your homework. Like it's always fun to just hang out with your friends and stuff. So that's what I would suggest, just to get involved.
Awesome. Thanks, Soph. Sadie, why don't you go next?
Hi, my name's Sadie Salas. I too graduated from St. Annie's. I'm involved in tennis, where we have practices. For right now, we're just having practices like once a week because we just started doing fall sports again. I'm involved in acts. Like Sophia said, we have a spring and a fall show, which is really fun because I see a lot of my friends in there if I don't see them in class. I'm also involved in student ambassadors and community service corps, where we do a lot of voluntary things for the community. My biggest piece of advice would probably be to enjoy high school as much as possible, because I still feel like a freshman. Like I remember my freshman year when a senior told me like, it goes by so fast. And I was like, no, it doesn't. And now I'm like a junior, and I feel like I skipped like 2 years of my life, and I really enjoyed my time here at Carroll. So my biggest, the reason why I came to Carroll was because I saw what a positive impact it had on my sister and what it is having on her right now as she's starting to become whatever she does in the future. And I really admired what it did for her, and I was excited to have that for myself. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Sadie. I am going to go over to Becca and Nate. If you got your camera on, awesome. You can unmute and you guys can talk one at a time about your experience at Carroll.
All right, so hi, I'm Nate. I'm a senior at Carroll this year. So I do soccer, tennis, and student ambassadors. My favorite thing about Carroll is probably the new soccer field that we got a couple years ago. It's like really good, and like soccer and lacrosse both use the field. And my biggest advice for 8th graders would probably be just to get involved, sports or like clubs and stuff, just to meet new friends.
Awesome. Yeah, Becca.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I am a sophomore at Carroll. What I participate in, I play soccer and I ran track last year. I am part of Best Buddies, CSC, Student Ambassador, and Pro Life Club. My favorite thing about Carroll would probably be daily mass and lunchtime prayer service. Why I chose Carroll as an 8th grader, I really enjoyed my shadow day. And I heard a lot from my sister and my brother who went there before me. And I felt like they had a lot of clubs that I'd be interested in. And even though a lot of my friends didn't go there, it just felt like the place I wanted to be the next 4 years. My best advice for 8th graders would be open to new things. I didn't imagine I would be playing soccer, but I found it fun and I met a lot of new people. And so I would just say be open to whatever you want, try new things, and make the most of your 4 years.
Awesome. Thanks, Becca. So now I'm going to go over to our 2 new freshmen who are here tonight. I'm going to start with Julia. Go ahead, Jewel.
Okay. Hi, my name is Julia Kraske. I'm a freshman. I graduated from St. Pius last year. I do field hockey and basketball for Carroll, or I'm planning on it. And hopefully I'll be able to join some more clubs, but due to Corona, it's a little bit challenging. My favorite thing about Carroll so far is how easy the transition was. They really made it very smooth for us. It wasn't too complicated to find our classes, and everyone's so helpful. My best advice for 8th graders is if your parents are giving you a little bit more freedom and letting you choose the high school that you want, don't just go where all your friends are going. Go where you want to go and where you feel the best and have the best experience.
Awesome. Great advice, Jewel. And Sophia, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I am a freshman at Carroll. Again, like Julia said, since the coronavirus happened, there's not much that I can participate in now, but I hope to participate in acts and just really anything music related, and also I want to get involved in student council. My favorite thing about Carroll is probably the teachers. I mean, since my brother just graduated from here last year, I sort of knew the teachers, but like from what I've heard from him, they are just super nice and really helpful. I chose Carroll again because my brother went there, and just because I really felt like that's where I wanted to go. Like, I was looking at some other different schools, but I really felt the most comfortable at Carroll. The best advice I could give is, again, just like Julia said, to don't just like go where your friends want to go. Like, go to where you really feel like you are most welcome and where you feel the most comfortable.
Awesome. Great advice. Missy or Mrs. Cunchelli, since you are already on, Mrs. Cunchelli is obviously Sophia's mom, and she is part of the Parents Association, and we'll talk about her experience as a parent.
Yes. So hi, I'm Missy Cunichelli, Sophia's mom, and also I've been involved at Carroll for the past 4 years, since 2016, because my son just graduated. And he's threatening to pop his face in here and embarrass his
That's
sister.
fine. We love to see him.
But he had a wonderful experience. So when it came time for Sophia to choose, she was thinking about a couple other schools, and excuse me, but she went to Carroll and she did a shadow day, and she really talked to him, and she just felt like it was already family. She felt like it was a really great fit for her. Like I said, I'm involved in the parent-teacher, or the Home and School Association as well. We run events. We're going to have to kind of do that a little differently, but it's a great group of people that really just have the school and the kids in mind. So we're going to try and do some different stuff this year, depending on what we can do.
Awesome. And Mrs. Crossan, you are up next.
Hi there. My name is Terry Crossan, and I have a son, Dan, who graduated in 2018 from Carroll, and a daughter, Kat, who hopefully will be coming home soon from Crew, and give some of her input. She always has something to say. So she's a sophomore. So I've been around for a while as well. And I just want to let you know we're St. Mary Magdalene family, but I want to let you know a couple of things. First of all, my son who graduated in 2018, we're going to be starting on the webpage soon a series called Why Carroll? Why do students, alumni, teachers, why do they choose to live their life at Carroll? And so Dan was one of the first ones because he's an easy one to get. So I figured I'd make my son do a little homework and write about why Carroll. And when he sent me the piece about Carroll, he sent me a text message with it. And he said, you know what, Mom, best 4 years of my life. And as a parent, that's all you want to hear. You're only as happiest as your, most unhappy child, so to speak. And Dan's so happy with his 4 years at Carroll. He came in and going along with the advice from the other students, get involved as quick as you can. Dan came in and was thinking about playing football, but didn't get as big as he thought. So he went out for the golf team. And first day, the coach asked him, how long you been playing golf? And Dan asked if today counted. So he didn't know anything about golf, but he wanted to be involved and start meeting people as soon as he could. So just jump right in. And then Kat, my sophomore there, she played field hockey last year. And I thought she was going to play again this year, but then she discovered this Crew thing. And the next thing you know, I've got a 15-year-old girl who values sleep more than anything else. And she wakes up first thing in the morning. I can wake her up so easy when I know she has to get up and get on the water on a weekend. So just try anything new. You never know what sticks, and you make unbelievable friendships. I think that's the main thing I can speak to both my kids about Carroll. When they were in grade school, they made phenomenal friends and lifetime friends. I can see, Dan being in a million weddings from kids that he met, but the boys at Carroll and the girls at Carroll that he met, he still continues. He lives with one of them at the University of Scranton, and he just absolutely has friendships for a lifetime. And Kat's here. Come on in.
Awesome. Great.
So she's going to say hi, and she's going to tell you what her favorite things about Carroll are. So here comes my Crew girl.
Hi, Kat.
So
Go ahead.
What's your favorite thing about Carroll, and what advice would you give an 8th grader?
I really like all the teachers at Carroll, and I like all the friends that I made at Carroll. And my advice would be stay organized, because it's easy to get behind on assignments.
No, not Kat. Never.
Awesome. Kat, you can jump back in when you get yourself settled. Thanks for the quick intro.
It was great timing.
It was great timing. Awesome. So that kind of concludes our just introductions from our students, our parents. I am going to talk a little bit about some of the things that some of the students did mention in a little bit more detail, but I do want Mr. Gennaro to go next because he is kind of the glue of Archbishop Carroll, I think. So he's up next.
Great, thanks, Michelle. Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Gennaro. I am the Assistant Principal for Academic Affairs at Archbishop Carroll. Just a quick background, this is my 10th year involved in the school, whether it be coaching, teaching, or in an administrative role. And I think in preparation for our virtual open house, Michelle will talk about it, I did some math on how long someone in my family has been involved at Archbishop Carroll. And I'm pretty sure we're now pushing on at least 25 or 26 years. My aunt started as an assistant in the admissions office. My mom was the field hockey coach for about 10, 11 years. All 4 of my sisters attended Archbishop Carroll, and one of them now works there with me as a teacher, and then me over the last 10 years. And now my brother stepping in to help coach the Crew team as well. So the school and the community has basically turned me as a St. Joe's Prep guy into someone that still loves St. Joe's Prep, but has found a great second home here at Carroll. If you have an interest in the school or choose to attend, I will be someone that you'll be communicating and working with starting in about May of this school year. My job is, after Ms. Gata does all the hard work in getting you guys registered, getting you guys set up, working out all the financial aid and all those details. It becomes my job to help create rosters that, as a freshman, will allow you to be the most successful that you can be. So some quick background on what a roster basically entails as a freshman. For the most part, everyone's going to take the same courses with some exceptions. Our Project Lead the Way program, which is a science and engineering based program that we started 2-3 years ago, is basically relatively brand new to the school and something that our students have an opportunity to jump into. If they do, that program starts their freshman year, and they would take one additional science and engineering course all 4 of their years at the school. Band, choir, and art are also opportunities that students have to take courses. Ms. Gotta may talk a little bit more about the Nolan Scholarship that we're able to offer as well. And then we also have the mandatory physical education and health requirement that all students need to take at some point in time over their 4 years. Once you get out of your freshman and sophomore year and meet those requirements, there are a lot more electives and advanced placement courses that students can take. And they run the gauntlet from any different subject area. Some of the ones that stick out to me, psychology is one that's offered to our seniors. We have broadcast journalism and intro computer programming in our media arts program, as well as accounting and personal finance. So there are plenty of courses, and our school website has the full course catalog that lists all of our courses, and also lists a couple courses that we offer every other year and alternating years depending on the interest with the class. Occasionally we'll offer a Latin class if enough students have an interest, as we have a teacher that's available to teach it. And then we also have a new class this year called Intro to Journalism and Creative Writing, which is a very writing-based English elective, but also does some work with the Carroll Times online newspaper. And as Sophia was mentioning in the yearbook, those students will be helping and assisting with that as well. So as you come into Archbishop Carroll and we sort of figure out where you're best going to be suited to start your 4 years, knowing that you can always move and change and adjust as you go on. We're going to review your 7th grade grades, your 8th grade grades, any Terra Nova test scores you have, as well as your high school placement test or scholarship test scores. And that information will give us a good baseline as to where one might be and where we need to get started from. And then come time May and June, we offer placement tests in math and in world language. So students that are currently in an Honors Algebra 1 or Honors Algebra course in 8th grade would take the math placement test to see if they score well enough to be able to test out of algebra and start in geometry in freshman year. Students that have an extensive knowledge of either Spanish or French are welcome to take the world language placement test and see if they can start either maybe in a Spanish 2 or a French 2 class and advance a little bit earlier into Spanish 4 or French 4, as we offer all 4 levels for students, knowing that colleges love to see more than just 2 years of a world language on their roster. So that's sort of my job, and then I prep you over the summer and send out a lot of communication and then get you ready as you come in as freshmen. I've been very proud of the job that our staff, our faculty, and our students have done adjusting in this new hybrid atmosphere, where we basically have half of our student body in on one day, half in on the other. When the students are at home, in almost all of our classes, they are learning synchronously through Zoom and through the cameras that the Archdiocese has purchased to place in the classrooms. I'd be lying if I told you there weren't any hiccups in the first month or so, and I'm sure all the students can run through some in their head. You heard from Sadie earlier, and I teach Sadie in my one class. I teach AP Language and Composition with the juniors, and as I told them today was the very first day my camera got working for my computer. So I've been running through just regular Zoom before that. But as we work through that and we work through our new learning management system, Schoology, things are getting better and better and stronger and stronger. And I'm confident in the product that we're putting out in this hybrid atmosphere and being as safe as we can. Other than that, I'll echo what all the students have said. If you're coming to Carroll, you're going anywhere for high school. The goal is to get involved and see what else your school offers you. Maybe it offers you something that you're incredibly interested in, and maybe you're going to find something a couple weeks in that's going to take your interest and you're going to run with it for the next 4 years. So as we continue on here, I know Ms. Scott is going to talk a lot about the admissions process and some of the things that they're doing a little bit differently this year. And then, as she said, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the Q&A in the chat, and then we'll be all happy to answer them after we're done. Michelle?
Awesome. Thanks, Mr. Gennaro. Yes, so as I'm talking, if you do have any specific questions, you can start dropping them in the chat because my part is a little bit more admissions driven. So, you know, you might have heard this already. You might have already done some things, but I do want to just put all of the information out there since we do have, you know, quite a few families on tonight. So as of today, we actually have 192 freshman applications already, which to me is fantastic. Our goal is always 400 applications, and for August 1st to be pretty much halfway there, I'm really excited about that. But it's not too late, obviously. It's actually kind of still even early. So please, if you have not submitted an application yet and you are interested in coming to Carroll, please do get on our website and submit the application. You will submit the application from what is called School Admin. It's our interactive admissions portal. So you as a family can, you know, upload your child's 7th grade final grades, standardized testing scores. If there is an academic support plan that you have for your child, we do accept those. Mr. Gennaro and our director of our resource room, Mr. Freiberger, will review, you know, IEPs, 504 plans, and see if we can meet your child's needs. It's kind of unique for the Archdiocese to have a resource academic support room. So we are one that does. So please, you know, if that is something that your child does need, you know, for success academically, please do, you know, submit that to us. You can also on that portal tell us what you're interested in. So, you know, like everybody has talked about, you know, the clubs and the activities, especially the sports teams and the music department, I can start sending your information out as an 8th grader to our coaches, to our club moderators, and they can start to get in touch with you at an early stage. But we need to know that you're interested. So you do want to utilize the student interest section of the school admin portal. The other thing, and this kind of leads into, I mean, that part was, you know, about leading back to, you know, how these kids have talked about being involved. Please check off as many as possible. It seems to be our theme of the night is involvement. But another thing that you can utilize in the portal is the legacy section, because that's another thing that I kind of highlighted here tonight as a theme is legacy. And our slogan actually for Carroll is leave your legacy. And that can mean a bunch of different things. You know, these guys have all had siblings maybe that have graduated or family members, but that doesn't mean that that's all that Carroll is, you know, oh, I'm coming because of my brother or sister. The legacy for us in admissions kind of has another meaning to it. And it's essentially, what do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for? And that's what Carroll really embraces, I think, is each kid individually. So if you know, see, like, you know, Julia mentioned field hockey and Kat mentioned crew, and, you know, Sophia mentioned, you know, music, and Archbishop Carroll Theater Society, you know, a couple of kids mentioned too. You see that as, oh, that's exactly what I want to be a part of, and oh, that's so great. But there's something that we don't mention tonight, or something that you don't hear about at Carroll. We want to hear about it from you. I've heard, you know, this is my 3rd year at Carroll, but I've heard so many times that students have started clubs on their own because it wasn't there before they got there, and they're still continuing to, you know, be a thing at Carroll, and people are joining them and continuing again that legacy. So please utilize the legacy section if you do have family members, you know, that have come through Carroll, but also remember that's not all that legacy means to us. So real quick, just about the rest of this admissions season. You know, the scholarship tests are starting. We have our first one coming up this weekend. So if you're taking it, I hope everyone has read my instructions. And if you're scheduled to take it on October 24th or November 5th, that information will be coming. If you haven't signed up for a scholarship test, you can still sign up for the 2 later in October or November. This weekend is obviously closed, and you can do that right on our website. The biggest thing is parents, for parents that are on tonight, that you want to take away from this is please utilize and use the Carroll Admissions Pandemic Information page. It is on the front page of the admissions page of the website. That will give you all of the information that you will need for this admission season. So you can actually sign up for the test right from that page. You do need to submit a school application though before you can take a scholarship test. So keep that in mind as well. There are options other than the merit scholarship for scholarships at Carroll, as well as through the Archdiocese. Mr. Gennaro mentioned the Nolan Scholarship for the Arts. I know Sophia Cudicelli is one of our Nolan Scholars from last year. That is strictly an arts-based scholarship. So, and when I say arts, I mean musical arts, performing arts, visual arts, digital arts, anything that has to do with an artistic ability. And that scholarship will actually go live on the school admin portal in November. So keep an eye out for that. And then also on our website, there's a page that discusses our branded grants at Carroll. Those are obviously all available as well, so check that out. And then the financial aid application for this school year actually just opened today. So you can actually get on and as early as tonight submit the financial aid application. But no information regarding scholarships or grants or financial aid will come out until at least December. So you do, again, have plenty of time. I don't want everyone to get off of this Zoom tonight and be panicked that they need to do everything in the next couple days. Not a problem. You really want to target the November 30th date for a deadline for application information, and December 31st as a financial aid. So you have plenty of time. The last two things that I'll talk about is just what the admissions events will look like. Obviously, this is our, school visit event, which, it kills me to not come to see the kids at school, but, this will do for this year, I hope, just this year. But on October 11th, you will get a link from me to watch our first ever virtual experience tour at Carroll. You'll see Sophia Petrosha as our student council president in there, as well as me and Mr. Gennaro, and it'll be an interactive experience that you as a family can have. The following Saturday would be the only day that we actually are allowed to have families on campus. We are not really supposed to be having visitors on campus right now, just from the Archdiocese guidelines, but every school did get cleared to have one event, maybe two, depending on the level of interest, as a walkthrough day. We're calling it our red and white day. More information will come to you next week with that link for the virtual open house. You'll also get information about this walkthrough day that you can sign up for. It is very limited. Again, if it's something that you can't make and the interest is there, we might try to do another one in November. So, sit tight there. And don't worry if, you can't make either of them. We're hoping to get people on campus in the springtime. So there still might be the opportunity to actually do, a shadow day. We'll have a virtual shadow day also coming out soon. But to actually do an in-class shadow day and maybe an in-class tour, or in-school tour as a family, I'm not sure how open houses are actually going to work, but we are still really hoping to get tours and shadow visits for the springtime. So with that all being said, I know that was a lot of information, but again, I just keep highlighting, go back to the Carroll Pandemic Admissions information page. Everything that I just said is written out for you there. So if you do have questions, please start to drop them in the chat. We do have one now, and it goes over to Nate and the boys soccer team. So Nate, does the boys soccer team play in the spring or just the fall? Do you play high school and travel soccer or just for the school? How do you balance your time? So Nate, if you can hear me, if you're still there, take it away.
All right. So this year the season's in the fall, and it usually is in the fall for most years. And I play both travel. I play both travel and school. And it's not that hard because most coaches, you play both travel and school. So, school practices are usually, after school, 3 to 5. And then, travel's, 7 or 8 at night.
Nate, you're a little frozen. Sometimes that happens.
Making for school at 3 with.
You all right? Can you hear me? You're good? You're unfrozen.
Michelle, I'll finish it up.
Okay, there
What
we
Nate
go.
was sort of filling in was the ability is there to do both. For a handful of our sports, and like Nate was saying that practice goes right after school for most all of our high school sports. Then he was able to do his club sports at night. But boys and girls soccer are both considered fall sports, and be a little bit of a shortened season this year, but one that we're excited to have.
Nate, anything else you want to add in there? I know you did mention the soccer field, and that is a big highlight of Carroll. But anything else you want to mention now that you're unfrozen?
No, not really. That's pretty much all.
Okay, awesome. We did have a question about wrestling, and they just what year can you start wrestling? And wrestling is a sport for our freshmen through seniors. So if you're a wrestler, that's awesome. Welcome, to join as soon as you get to Carroll. Any other questions? I don't see any more, but I do want to kind of maybe go back. Mr. Gennaro touched on Project Lead the Way. Julia and Kat are both Project Lead the Way cohort people. So Kat, why don't you start since this is your second year, and then Jewel, you can go into anything that you've done so far or what you're looking forward to doing since you've only been at school for 2 weeks. But go ahead, Kat.
So Project Lead the Way is basically just like an engineering class, and it lasts for all 4 years at Carroll. So basically what you do in your first year is you kind of just learn like how to draw different like dimensions of shapes and how to program them on the computers. And I think you learned 3D printing freshman year, but we didn't get to because we were online the second half of the year. And then for our sophomore year, what we've been learning is just like different types of engineering, like mechanical engineering and stuff.
Cool. Awesome. Jewel, anything you want to add? Anything you're excited about? Why did you choose the Project Lead the Way class?
Yeah, so right now we're just learning about the design process, and we have a project. It's just building a prototype for a catapult. So I really like this class so far, but the main reason I chose it was because I knew it would look good on college applications. And yeah, I don't know. I do recommend taking this course. It's really good.
Awesome. Mr. Gennaro, anything you wanted to add about that?
Course size is right around 24 to 26 students for each of the years. It is something that we strongly encourage a student, if they're interested in doing, to keep going for the full 4 years. However, we know that we're high school students, and we may change our mind as we go. So that option to sort of transition out if they have an interest in doing so is there. But a lot of it is going to center around making sure that we're caught up on our math, which is going to be a decent part of that first year in getting ourselves squared away.
Thanks. A couple students mentioned ACTS, which is Archbishop Carroll Theater Society. So I'll let Sophia and Sadie talk about it from a student's perspective. Mrs. Cuncelli, you obviously have experience as well with Marco being in stage crew, and I know, Sophia, you want to join. So I'll let you guys chat too, but Sadie, why don't you start? And Sophia, Petrosia, you can also add something about that.
Theater is really fun at Carroll. I did the second show of my freshman year because my sister was graduating, so I did that with her because she wanted me to, and I was not expecting to continue doing it all so far what I've been doing, and it was really fun the first time. I mean, you go to ACTS and you really bond with everyone, and it's fun to spend that much time after school with everyone. I mean, it's better than going home and doing homework by yourself at home instead of hanging out with friends and maybe doing homework with them too. And our director, Meg, is really nice. She's very organized, and she's a very organized person. And even though we were not able to do much so far this year, she's really trying and to try to help us do some acts this year, even though it's probably going to be difficult. But I mean, I would say my favorite show was Fiddler on the Roof, which is the first show that I did. Probably just because I was doing it with my sister, and it was just really fun for me to spend that much time with her before she was left for college. and I made most of my friends from Carroll. I mean, I have a couple friends who are seniors who I don't have classes with, but I enjoy seeing at practice, and it's just really nice to be able to make friends with different grade levels because you probably don't get to do that a lot during class because you don't see each other. And it's really fun and very organized, and you really spend like a lot of time on these shows, and it's worth it in the end to see the product of how great it was, and to have all those show nights. It's really fun, and yeah.
Awesome. Soph, anything you want to add?
Sure. So I've had a really great experience with ACTS. I've been doing it since my freshman year. I only did one show each year, which was perfect. I was able to like handle everything. What I really liked about it was because I started freshman year, and ACTS is for everyone. So you are with all grade levels, and it was a really great way to meet like upperclassmen and just to become friends with them and feel like you have someone else like at Carroll. It's kind of cool. Like you're friends with like the seniors, the juniors, and the seniors. It's just a great experience. And a lot of people do it who don't even like sing or dance or do anything like it. It's just a fun way, just a fun thing to do after school, to be with your friends. And I would have to agree with Sadie that my favorite show was Fiddler on the Roof. Like not even just the show, just like being at Carroll. It's also in the spring, so you see all the baseball teams and the softball teams, all the spring sports are there. It's just a great environment at Carroll. It just brings me back to like such like happy times. Like I just really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Awesome. Ms. Cunicelli, anything you guys want to add from your end since you've done it quite a few years now?
So my son that graduated was, he rode for Mr. Gennaro for a couple years and then had to stop. So he was looking for something to get involved in. And he was always good, like building stuff. So he did stage crew and then was stage manager his senior year. And that's great to get involved in as well. Like even if you enjoy the theater, but you're not a singer or dancer or you play an instrument, you're at practices building stuff, and the sets have always been amazing. And I think and then you can speak to the music part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first show that I saw at Carroll was, I think it was gospel. And that was really the moment that I knew that I really wanted to go to Carroll, because I've always been a very music-centered person. So it was just, I was so amazed by all the talent. And
did you notice that there were students playing in the pit band?
Mm-hmm.
So at Carroll, our students actually get to play if you're part of the pit band, which I think Sophie might even be doing. I don't know. I know you do band, but the students actually get to participate with some professionals, which is really cool. Our band director, Zach Larimer, is great. He's actually part of the Eagles drum line, which is really cool too. But there's a lot of different band options. There's band as a class, like Mr. Gennaro said. There's lessons after school, but there's also the pit that, Sophia alluded to, as well as the pep band, the jazz band, the wind ensemble, the concert band. So there's a lot of different band options, that come along with Carroll as well. So there's 2 other points, but I do have one more question down here, and it looks like it is a question for me. It says, do you have to upload the grades from 7th grade before taking the scholarship test? No, you do not. You strictly just have to have an application in. 7th grade grades, final grades, 8th grade, first quarter or first trimester, that can all come in November, December. So just as long as you have the application completed, you are eligible to take the scholarship test. So before we do end, there were 2 points that I wanted to talk about. Becca, you talked about the daily masses and lunchtime prayer services. So why don't you talk a little bit to that? And then we do have a lot of athletes on too. So I'll let, I know Mrs. Crossan already touched on some stuff, and Mr. Gennaro is a crew coach. So if any of our student athletes do want to talk, I know we are just starting this year with fall sports. But if anybody does have any questions too about athletics, please drop them in the chat. But Becca, why don't you talk about the daily masses and lunchtime prayer services?
Okay, so I know lunchtime prayer service just started up this week, I think, so I haven't had a chance to go to that. But last year, after I found out that they had it, I started to go every day, and it was really nice. Most people think like, oh, I won't have enough time for lunch. I won't have to, like, I'll be late to get into line. And it's literally 5 minutes long. You just go in. There's usually like a reading, and then you just pray and listen to like a song, and then you're done and you can go to lunch. And usually they haven't even started the lines anyway if you're really worried about that. But I think that's a really nice way to just start lunch. It just reminds you, like in the middle of the day, to center it around Christ. And then daily mass. I never went to daily mass last year, but I started to go this year. I actually went today, was my second time going. I emailed the priest, and he said that Monday and Tuesday, I believe it's at 2:25 p.m. after school. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's in the morning starting at 7:10. So Nate drives me to school. So we got here early and I just went to mass, and it lasts like 20 minutes and you're done in time to actually get back down to the cafeteria, and then you're dismissed, and then you just go on your classes. And I think it's a really nice way to start the day. It's just really quiet, and I think it's a really nice way to remind yourself what you should be thinking about during the day.
Awesome. Thanks, Becca. That's a really great point too about starting lunch that way. So obviously Archbishop Carroll is first and foremost a Catholic school. So, we obviously embrace the Catholic faith, but a point that I always like to make to families too is not everyone that comes to Carroll is Catholic. Not everyone that comes to Carroll even is, as rooted in their faith as some students. And, Becca alluded to that we have a priest on staff. Father Mark is our campus minister, and he says it the best, really. He says, we meet you where you are, with your faith life. If you are someone or a family who's really rooted in that, there's so many opportunities through campus ministry and retreats and community service corps that you can be involved in. But if it's something that's not very big in your life and you all of a sudden feel, like it is, he's there to help you get to where you want it to be. But also, if you're not Catholic and it isn't really something that does, take interest in, that's okay too. Nothing is forced on you at Carroll in regards to faith, other than you have to take the 4 credits to graduate from Mr. Gennaro. But other than that, we really meet you where you are. So I always like to point that out too. There is a question down here though about football. Yes.
Can I, one quick comment?
Mrs. Crosby, go for it.
Father Mark, who Michelle mentioned, 2 unique things that I'm not sure every other school has. First of all, his nickname is Coach Father because he coaches 3 of the sports. He's a football, wrestling, and baseball coach. And then the second part that I think makes our Father Mark unique, he's also a chef specializing in Italian meals. He wants to do a cooking club through his Faith in Action, and he's just great. So he's just a really funny guy. So hopefully when you do the Red and White Day, you'll get a chance to meet Father Mark because he's pretty busy.
He will be part of the virtual experience tour as well. So thanks for the plug for Father Mark, Mrs. Crossan. So there was a question about football. So in regards to our football team, there's usually a JV and varsity team. This year obviously is the exception. Everyone is kind of thrown on varsity. So it's really not a cuts kind of thing this year or a, playing time thing. It's, just a learning experience for the young guys, and also you're competing at practice or practicing for playing time. But we are part of the PCL, the Philadelphia Catholic League, for all of our sports. It is one of the most competitive leagues in our area, probably in the state. So we do play some pretty great teams in regards to football. St. Joe's Prep's in there, LaSalle, Newman Goretti, LaSalle Catholic. They're all in there. So we compete pretty well. The football team is a 3A school. So we're really hoping this year to compete for a district championship. Things are going really well so far. Kyle Detweiler is in his 4th season at Carroll. He's the head coach, and all of his information can be found on our website. The best way for you guys at home to start to talk to these coaches, like I said, is to fill out that interest section on the application so that And it's probably coming up in the next couple of weeks that I start sending the coaches information for our 8th graders so that they can start touching base with you, maybe inviting you to one of the games if there is allowed, spectators at the sports games, or also maybe to just come and stand on the sidelines at practice. I have seen that. Mr. Gennaro, anything you want to add in regards to athletics?
No, I think you basically touched on it, Ms. Gata. The filling out the form and getting the information to the coaches is great. Obviously, coming to see some of these events in the fall is going to be a little bit tricky, so we'll continue to promote them through our social media as best we can. But you're right. A lot of the sports in the way they come is, and we can use football as an example. We can use rowing as an example. We can use girls soccer as an example. A lot of the sports, if students have an interest in playing, we always do our best to make sure we try and find space for them. There are sports that obviously do have cuts because there are roster sizes and stuff that need to be met. But a lot of them, if you have an interest, we can find a spot in them for you. And then as we get closer and out of some of these seasons and into the spring, you'll be able to find a lot of the coaches' information up on the school website under athletics too, to reach out and ask any questions.
Absolutely. Are there any other last minute questions? We have about 10 minutes. I'm just going to go back and say it again. For those of you at home, it is so important to review the Carroll admissions pandemic information page. First page of if you click on admissions of the Carroll website, it comes up right at the top. It really gives you all of the information that you need for this admission season. And I will also start to update that as things happen and they're done with. I will be putting the new information up there as we continue through this year. So again, keep an eye out for any email that you see from me, especially next week, so that you can get the link to the virtual open house or the virtual experience tour, as well as if you are interested in doing a walkthrough of Carroll on, the following weekend. And then that link for the virtual experience tour, once it's posted on the 11th, it'll be there. So you can watch it at any time. But it is dropping on that Sunday. So please, I hope that you can, continue to experience Carroll virtually with us, right now. And we do, have the opportunity to host you on campus at some point this spring, and next year in 2021. Any panelists want to say anything else while we just wait for any last minute questions? Anybody? No? All right. So yeah, if I don't have any more questions, I will end the session for tonight. Again, if anyone knows someone who couldn't get on tonight for whatever reason, next week, this will be posted on the pandemic admissions page. But I thank everybody for joining us tonight, panelists as well, and families at home. I love all of your school principals. They are some of my favorites, so make sure you do say hi to them. And if you didn't get a swag bag at school today, make sure you do stop by your main office tomorrow. So thanks, everyone, and we hope to see you around Carroll soon. Bye. I'm going to end this, guys.